Alrighty, so I'm coming a few days late for this past weekend's Friday roundup. I'm doing a Friday roundup for June 28th, 2024. I know it's the start of July already, but I had a lot of things lined up for previous Friday for me to listen to. I know we're already like, let's see, hold on. I think it's like Tuesday or Wednesday by the time I'm recording this. I'll have it uploaded the same night because I want to get these out at least once a week, if not once, like every week and a half or so, to kind of like both remind myself and to give like viewers a weekly bit of a weekly segment to kind of look forward to, even if it's not directly on Fridays. I'll probably post them between Saturdays and like today, like Saturdays, Tuesday, Wednesday, at least before the next Friday to like get to all the Friday listens I want to get to. But there was a lot that came out this past Friday, June 28th. So let's go ahead and cover what my favorites were, starting with not a full album, but what someone I was looking forward to very greatly off the single. The Wallsocket underscores Wallsocket, the deluxe director's cut. The songs that came out on this one are only 4 songs, but all 4 of them are amazing to me. My Guy / The Corporate Shuffle. It's a really good, like, kind of party banging song. Good car listen to, good headphones. It's just overall, I think, underscore. I've talked with Dylan, who's going to show up in the channel soon, within the next, I would say 2 to 3 weeks. I'll have a video with him in it, with a live concert that I want to upload and kind of edit together. It's my first video editing multiple segments together. So I'm kind of research a bit of that, so it might come a little later. The Charlie video is probably going to come before that, I'll let you know that. But we talked about how I feel like Underscore is the type of artist who is doing like hyperpop and electronic music and dance and pop like not really any other artist I've heard in the past like at least 2, if not 3 or 4 years. So this song, Northwest Zombie Girl, CCTV, which is an 8-minute song, probably the longest song I've ever heard from Underscore. I believe it is the longest song they currently have, at least on Spotify. And then Stupid or Can't Run From the Urge. I would say 3 of these are like your big like dance upbeat, like they're gonna bring the energy back up songs. CCTV is a slow burn wall of noise song by the end of it, like especially past I would say the 2 or 3 minute point. It really becomes just like a wall of sound, but such a cacophony. It's such a gorgeous wall of sound that I really I've heard it twice now and I really just soak in every time. I'm not skipping it just because like it's such a sweet mellow build that it really hits in every time. And since it's 4 tracks, all together with the 8-minute song, like about 20 to 30 minutes long, it's a pretty easy listen. It's kind of a hefty add-on to this album that was already like so good. But I think Good Luck Final Girl is probably the perfect outro for the album. So if I find an LP for it with the original standard edition instead of the deluxe, I kind of agree with Dylan that it's the perfect outro for the album. So I might just get that instead if I ever do find the LP of it. I tried to order it once and it got sent back. Hated that shit. Number 2 on my list of listens for Friday that came out Friday at least, was Lupe Fiasco's Samurai. I finally just finished this one yesterday. So it's one of the fresher ones on the list here. And it's pretty good. It's like an 8-9 track album, closer to an EP in length than like album length, but like it ranges depending on the project. If it's cohesive enough, I considered like some 6 or 7 track projects like an album depending on the length of songs and like how cohesive the project is in itself. That's why I say project a lot sometimes, because the difference between albums, EPs, some singles can be up to 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes long. It just depends on the artist, you know, what they're going for. This one was pretty good. Lupe has kind of been back in his bag for a while. I'm happy that he has lines out here like on this album. I remember him being like instead of the how sway bar you hear a lot of people use, he's like how yay, like bringing up how Ye's been acting currently in the public, kind of swinging that back on him, which I appreciate. People are vocally out here doing that, especially as somebody who has Jewish heritage. It's hot out here, y'all. I'm on the Kansas-Missouri line, and it's like 98. It was 103 on the drive over to one of my first appointments today. So it's insane out here. Y'all stay hydrated. Y'all stay cool. Stay in the air. That's why I'm kind of talking a bit today. I'm not turning my air off for this. But I gotta stay healthy. You know, y'all do too. So next up on our list, I'm ranking these based on my enjoyment off the first listens, first or second listen. So since I had a lot to get to, I'm just gonna rank it based on what I feel was my favorites. My third out of my favorites of this past Friday drops were Omar Apollo, God Said No. And I don't think I've heard a full project from Omar Apollo, but I was in the doctor's office earlier today with my fiance, and I let it ride out. And one, I didn't know he was a gay artist. I'm pretty sure he is. I know at one point he said a line like, when I was kissing him, I thought about you or something like that. And that's what I caught. I was like, oh, he's fruity like that, like me. Hey, okay. But it's it's a pretty incredible album. It's honestly a good vibey R&B chill pop album. I think the main song that stuck with me that I heard as a single that really got me pushed onto it was Why You Gotta Ruin Every Night, 50K I Spent It Out of Spite. That one really got stuck in my head for a while after I heard the single. I would say if you like pop music, R&B, dance music, you'll like this album. Next is Hey Violet Aftertaste. This is a band I've been following since like 2016, 2017, so a good while now, but only has 2 projects out. I can't remember the name of the first one because it's been at least since pre-COVID, since they dropped an album, full album at least. And then this one, Aftertaste, which is more like, I'd say pop punk, all-girl group, I'm pretty sure. Rock, yeah, like a pop rock type situation. At this point, leaning more towards poppy than rocky, I'd say, in most of their songs. But pretty good listen. I don't think I'll be rushing back to it, but it'll definitely be on my shuffle, and like maybe it'll swing me back to giving it another try or two, and maybe end up on my list later. Fourth, let's see, 1, 2, 3, fifth, we're in the 5th project, is Dom McLennon of Brockhamham, dropping The Changing of the Trees. It's another 7 to 8 track album, pretty short, pretty cohesive, just like the Lupe Fiasco album. Not a lot of specific bars or verses that stand out on me, but Dom was my favorite member of Brockhamham while it was active, so I was happy to see him dropping an EP, and then later on now, finally a more fuller album. I wish, kind of wish I'd got like a 12 to 14 track album, like something more dense to lean me over until the next project, because we kind of just only got like a pretty underproduced EP and then this album. But this album is good, so I'm gonna be going back to this one pretty frequently. On looking at this list, I might put it above Hey Violet, honestly. Maybe above Omar Apollo too. But if you want to know what members of Brockhamham have been up to, last year Kevin Abstract dropped Blanket. This year, Matt Champion dropped an album, had the song Slug on it. That's the main music video. I'd recommend that if you want to try out the album. It's more poppy than anything he's done on Brockhamham on their projects. Merlin and Amir have been working together on EPs and singles together, and then this is the first more fuller thing that Dom's done since their Brockhamham project has ended as a group. I don't know about the other members yet. Really haven't kept track on that side at least. Next up is Lil Yachty and James Blake, Bad Cameo. This was a really sleepy album. It was good. It was just sleepy, especially by the last 3 or 4 songs. I'm gonna give it another few plays, but last night and this morning I needed something more mellow because I wasn't in the best of moods, honestly, up until I'd say at least lunch today or so. Really sleep deprived, been trying to handle a lot of things with my fiance's health problems right now and recovery process. So yeah, I needed something more sleepy, so this was a perfect listen for that. But it also has me not clamoring to go back to it because it was so sleepy. I do think if you like the sound, if you like some of the singles off this, I don't think there was any lead singles, as far as I know, that dropped pre this project coming out. But I would say if you like the sound and you want something that's a little better than this, listen to Lil Yachty's album he dropped last year. Has an AI generated cover of a bunch of boardroom meeting people laughing at him. Has a really long opener song, like 6 to 7 minutes long. Very trippy, very Tame Impala inspired, because he worked with Tame Impala like a year before, or earlier that year, I can't remember which one, but he worked with Tame Impala, and I could kind of hear that sound started bleeding into his sounds and his own albums, which was good to hear, because before that, I honestly wasn't rocking with Yachty a lot. He was dropping some albums that became some of my least favorites of the year when I heard them. So I was happy to see that turnaround, something that was really more accessible to me, at least. I mean, everybody's got their own taste. I'm not gonna judge if you liked a lot of early Yachty projects. Lil Boat and that whole era was the only time I really loved Yachty like that, and really kind of regularly went back to his music, specifically the first one. I heard the Imagine Dragons album. Can't remember the name of it. Don't think I'll be going back to it. It was okay. I'll throw it on a playlist. Imagine Dragons isn't anything to write home about. They're not innovating music. It's just pop. Next is Lucky Daye Algorithm. These ones end up lower in the list now because Imagine Dragons is the last album on this list that I have, outside of maybe one, that I liked every song. At least on my Spotify listens, the first listen. And yeah, Algorithm by Lucky Daye was one I was looking forward to a lot because I heard You're Making Me So Soft. That song was really good. And Hurricane was really good, but there was a few skits and moments in the album I listened to with Jenny, and we're in the house listening around, and then it comes up a skit where he's like, yeah, get those bitches. Like, it just kind of throws in things like that and skits. Right? I know it's not him. It's like a feature on the song. I can't remember which song it is. But it's a feature on the song. It's like, and fucking that bitch, stuff like that. And like when you really draw out like a minute and a half of an outro where it's like really derogatory like that, it's like the song was good, but not good enough to save the shitty outro, the spoken word outro that doesn't really add to the album. Just kind of, just more takes away, honestly, only takes away because of how vulgar it is. And I'm not usually a person who cares about vulgarity. I do cuss off and on. It just depends, on the situation. I deal with customers a lot for my work, and I have to be a certain level of PC for people I meet strangers I meet. But most people don't care, honestly, if they're really, really uptight or really Christian or I would say really right wing. But some right wing people say shit worse than I've ever said. Next is gonna be Megan the Stallion. I would say I guess you would consider this self-titled. This one was really spotty for me. This was like a roller coaster of an album. Like, I get like 3 or 4 songs in, and I start like song okay, it's back and forth. I would say out of the 14 to 16 songs we got, I liked about 10 of them. So by the end I liked the majority, but like not enough to where like I'm really clamoring to go back to a full listen yet, when I have so many other things kind of lined up both for the channel and just for my personal life to like get to and listen to. Next up is going to be Head Rush by Channel Trey. Oh, I'll say for the last 4 albums, I'll break it back down. The Yachty and James Blake album, the genre would be like maybe a little R&B, rap, singer, songwriter, little psychedelia a little bit, I'd say. Imagine Dragons, pop. Algorithm by Lucky Daye is a straight R&B, straight pop R&B. Megan, the rap. I figure most people that kind of follow music ongoingly, at least a little bit. If you don't, that's okay. That's why I kind of make things like this channel, to kind of introduce people to things that they might have never heard of, and to get things that I've never heard of myself. But Megan Thee Stallion is more rap, just straight rap. Chanel Trey, I guess how you pronounce it. Head Rush, more R&B, rap, pop, kind of in that vein. Still a bit more vulgar on the side of like specifically derogatory towards women. That's something you might see common through line on this channel, is that the more derogatory it gets on these albums, especially albums with men and things like that, for like the more drawbacks. I'm like, okay, I'm taking off singles, but I'm probably not rushing back to the full album because you're just talking about how you're fucking on your girl, or I'm fucking on this bitch, or I own her, or something like that. Like I don't like shit like that. I wish we had less of it. That's why I kind of start following more gay artists. But some gay guy artists and albums and singles, or singles by gay men, will still be derogatory towards women. It just depends. It depends on the person. It depends on the project. It depends on what's going on. There was a moment where I was really loving Denzel Curry's change and like talking about on his last album last year. It's not Taboo. I love that one, but it's not that one. It's Denzel Curry's Melt My Eyes, See Your Fears. I believe that was the main title. I might stick it up here if that's not the full title, not the correct title. But he had a few tracks, or a track or two, talking about how he's like, I'm sorry for when I talked about women in the past. But then his singles after this album has all been like, his features and things like that have still been like, I'm fucking on your bitch, I'm taking your hoe. So it's like, it's one of those things where like people sometimes put on a front like they're changing, and then they just don't. They just publicly kind of like, this was just to the front. This was just to like, or, you know what? Progression comes in bits, so I'm not going to say it's just a front. Like, it's possible that he's growing just slowly, and it's just like a part of the music industry that people want these kind of verses. Who knows? It's not my place to say. A little bit of side tangent. These might happen a few times, sorry. Next up is Camilo Cabello, C XOXO. Yeah, that's what that was the name of the album title. Pop, rap, features are Playboi Carti, Drake twice. Drake was a feature, and then just a Drake song with jump scare Drake feature. Especially after the fucking Kendrick Lamar and Drake diss kind of feud earlier this year in 2024. Which, if y'all want to hear my thoughts on that, leave a comment. Kind of let me know if you want me to hear a video on that. I'm a white person, so for more rap-based things, I'm not going to go in-depth on a lot of like rap artists, or outside of if I really feel something like heavily on a positive side. On a negative side, I won't go really heavily on rap artists or any black artists on this channel, because I'm going to be a good ally and not be the type of person that just like rags on people because of my privilege. But I did not like this album. The Camilo Cabello album, I Jump Scare Drake feature, the Playboi Carti verse at the beginning, I remember hearing as a single and did not like it. Not just because of Playboi Carti, it was just because both her and Playboi Carti was just an odd pairing. It was not a good opener. The Lil Nas X single, Lil Nas X featuring Camilo Cabello, other way around, whatever. Her featuring him, Lil Nas X. That was probably the best song on this album, and that's all I remember off of it. That also dropped as a feature. As a featured single earlier, like at least a month or two ago, before this album came out. So yeah, had me a little hype for it, but then my hype's a little let down. It's kind of the same way as the Megan album. I liked about 7 or 8 out of 14 songs on the album. Next up is going to be Dauntless Manifesto by cupcakKe with 2 Ks. I've been following cupcakKe since at least 2019, somewhere around there, so at least 4 or 5 years. I would say cupcakKe is a rapper. People kind of consider her a joke rapper, but there are songs on this album that I feel like are really good. Just the sequencing is horrible on this album. There are 2 moments where I was like, geesh, that took a harsh turn into a serious topic that I did not expect, and then right back out of it. Like, the first 2 or 3 songs are all like more the kind of sex-based raps, like very like jokily vulgar, like kind of like in the vein of she has single like his dick like Squidward's nose or something like that, like that. But then the 4th or 5th song goes right into I had a friend who tried to commit suicide and I talked her down from it and I was there for her, and I want to let you know if you're in that position that you can make it, it's gonna be okay. And I was like, damn, this is a really good song. This is an amazing, emotional, heartfelt song. And then it pivots straight into I'm Dora the Horror Explorer, and I'm like, whoa, sequencing is awful. That was such a bad way to pivot from a suicide song. Yeesh. And then the next like 7 or 8 tracks, we get all the same like kind of like good, amazing flow. She's an amazing rapper. Something I'll never take away from her. cupcakKe is an amazing rapper. But we get songs like Queef and things like that, where it's just the topic is pretty cut and dry for what the song's gonna be about. He's like, he's gonna fuck me till I queef. But then the very last song is about talking about the George Floyd incident and talking about how it's called Cruella, and it's like, I want all my black and white people to stand together in my shows. I want solidarity. Fuck the cops, fuck the 12. And I'm like, damn, this is a really good way to go out, honestly. But the sequencing of everything that happened in between, in 2 serious songs we had, like, in the first third and 1 at the very end, felt really weird. If you're gonna do this, I would say take the suicide song, put it right before the end, have your 2 serious ones right at the end, to bring the mood to a moment in the album where, like, you're in the mood to hear more serious things like that. But having only 2 in this track listing of 16, this was the one I finished most recently. I finished it right before making this video, like at least about 2 or 3 hours ago. Feels like an odd choice to break these 2 very serious songs up in the mix of a lot of very jokey sex songs. Those are definitely my favorites on the album. I'll be going back to them a lot. I feel like it's the same way when I hear like Megan Thee Stallion's Anxiety song on her last album, I believe. She has one in this most recent album that's also more serious in topic about like emotional and mental health. And I love when artists get more introspective and kind of talk about things like, even though Logic's kind of fallen off in the past few years, I think Confessions of a Dangerous Mind had a beautiful opener about how serious he was about how social media affects his mental state and how it makes him kind of rethink and overthink his lines and how he presents in public and things like that. I love when artists do that. That's real to us, and that's a very real emotion that I feel most people feel. Most people, at some point in their life, deal with a mental health struggle, whether it be chronically or not. And that's something that we can all relate to, and I love when I hear it in music. It really gives me something to go to and empathize with when I'm low, and kind of put on and be like, somebody else understands this struggle, even if nobody else is around. And the last thing on my list is a bit of a weak release. Dua Lipa, the extended cut of Radical Optimism. I've already heard this album at least 5 or 6 times since release. 2 months ago now, I believe. Yeah. The extended cut is just all the songs but a little longer and changes that it's hard to really even notice if you've heard both albums, both copies of the album. So I would just say, if you like Dua Lipa, go listen to Radical Optimism, the original version, and it's a shorter, cohesive, and just as good version, just a little shorter, like 15-20 minutes shorter, and feels like it has less shit in it that doesn't really need to be there, I would say. Yeah, like most of the things they add are like Childish Gambino. I'll just listen to Childish Gambino Out of Vista. re-listening to it again. I made that video on this channel about it about a month ago now. And yeah, like, there was changes made to this album, like 2 or 3 new songs and edits in the songs that I feel like aren't significant enough, where he took like 3, 4, 5 years to like really edit. I forgot when this album came out. I think 2021, so like 3 years. But anyways, he took like 3 years to edit and like add new songs and make this a more cohesive project with a title, because they had no title before, and most of the songs had no titles. And kind of put it together in a way that was different from the original album. Here, the Radical Optimism Deluxe extended cut was probably the weakest thing to listen to from this past Friday, because it didn't make a change like I felt was even necessary to the album. The album was already so good that like it didn't need all these extra like 30 seconds, minute of an extra bit of ride out on a beat on the song. Like, they just didn't need it. It just felt odd. It felt like a team decision. Otherwise, I haven't said it in the video yet. I'll probably put a bit of a word speech thing in the beginning to let you know, because I know people kind of watch the first like minute to 3 minutes sometimes. But like and subscribe, comment if you're liking liking the project I talked about today. If you want recommend something that either you made or an album that you really loved this year, like your favorite album of the year, for me to give a shot to, I'll definitely review it. I'll cover it on the channel. I'll get to it as fast as I can, probably within the week, honestly. And yeah, otherwise, it's been pretty good out here. It's still close to 100 by the time I finish this video. It's been like, I say this video's, I haven't been editing a lot of these. I'll probably slowly edit more as I go on, just to practice. I had somebody who was going to have edit on the channel as a partnership, but they're dealing with a lot right now. So if they do end up being able to like collab and help be on my part-time editor, I'll let you know their name and I'll kind of bring them on. But so far, the only person I'll have on this channel currently as a collab member will probably be Dylan. He's a friend I met through meeting at a concert last year. I went to go see Tabby live, rapper Tabby, in KC, I believe. Yeah, somewhere around the city in KC. And we met at kind of like kind of in the corner dive bar type place. Had a whole room full of plushies on the ceiling and everything. It was fucking crazy. And we kind of met there, kept in touch. Now we've been in touch for at least a year, if not a year and a half. And we listened to a lot of similar things. So, excuse me. He might end up collabing on this channel more to like talk about certain projects that we both listen to a lot before the end of the year. Kind of cover it as it goes along. I don't know how it's going to work yet. Like, we'll do the video call, patch it together like that, see if we can meet up in person a little more often, at least like when a bigger project comes out that we both really love and we're excited for. We'll meet up, do an album listen, and then kind of talk about it right after, like we did with this concert. We kind of went to the concert. I edited together a few clips from going in and then the show itself, and then we did a short like 10 to 15 minutes afterwards talking about our thoughts on the concert while it was still fresh. Also to let the parking kind of like people leaving venues kind of drive crazy, so give time for that. Otherwise, yeah, y'all have a good day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share around with some friends. I've seen that people have been sharing these videos. Thank you so much for that. Even if it's just the shorts or the videos themselves, sharing it helps. And it's been spreading around. I'm close to 20 subscribers now, and I've only had this channel open like actively posting videos for about a week or two. No, not a week, a month and a half. So thanks for all loving those videos, and I'll see y'all. Bye.